What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality, doing one on a follow-up of Kobe Bean Bryant's death. This will be part 2. If you haven't seen my first one, I'd suggest pausing this and going to my videos and finding it. It's in the first row, I believe. But this is going to be a follow-up, and man, there's just so much information that I found I could probably do part 3, part 4. I could make this to an hour, 2-hour presentation. I don't have many slides on this one, but the information I'm going to be showing you is just mind-blowing. And folks, I told you, I believe this. It was time for Kobe's life to be taken. It was time for him to pay up. These superstars, they collect an enormous amount of energy. You can imagine the eyes and the people that follow this guy, the energy he received as a collective consciousness going into this guy. And I believe that when it's time for these people to pay up, the energy is transmuted and it goes to another realm, and it's being used to feed what I believe to be the Tetragrammaton, Yaldabaoth, Jehovah, Yod-He-Vah-He, YHVH. It doesn't matter what you call it. Nonetheless, it's feeding off of the energy of the blood that's spilled from these superstars, and of course us, our emotions. So let's get going on this, folks. I know I'm getting a little bit off track, but my methods of decoding, first and foremost, using numerology. Then you take the results of numerology and you bring it into the periodic table. Now we're getting into alchemy. This is where you get another layer to add to your numerology totals and expressions. You can't just, tie numbers together and just think you're going to figure out how the matrix works. That's what I believe anyway. And again, these are my opinions, but I want to add as many layers as I can, because then it starts to paint a more clear and distinct picture of what's running this matrix reality. And this is where it's at. We're made up of these elements, boron and copper and oxygen, and we're made up of all this kind of stuff. And words can be placed in here through numerology, and you can get an outcome, and you can start to, all these elements have pictures, and there's all significance to this. I also use the digits of pi, 3.14159, the ongoing endless 3.14 perfect circle. You can plug in any digit and you'll get an outcome. For instance, 364 appears at the 346 decimal digit of pi. It's kind of interesting. So we can add that to this as well. So here we go, folks. I was watching something online when this first happened, and this guy popped up, and this is a screenshot right from LA Times. This is how they're expressing it. Daryl Osby, he's the current fire chief, so he was giving this speech on the crash. What I thought was really interesting is that this guy's name that they're using on the news article ends up being 24, which matches that of Kobe's number. Using the tarot, Daryl's an 11, Osby's a 13. That's the justice and the death card, and the numerology of justice death is 42, which is the mirror of the 24. It's kind of interesting, when you add these layers, and it's like, man, so why is this? Okay, what does that mean? Well, I told you, it just means it strengthens the story. It makes the story more real. Here's an actual picture I got from the air traffic control of the helicopter, which was right here on its way to its location in Southern California. From Orange County to, I forgot where it was going, but here's the actual name of the copter that was on the helicopter itself, N72EX. That has a numerology of 24. Again, is this done on purpose? What are the odds that these things link up like that? And then you have to ask yourself, are these people sitting down and doing the numerology to make sure it matches up with his number? And look at this guy's name. And how is this all possible? It's something pulling the strings behind the scenes, running this matrix, folks. That's why. Even the timestamp. I know this has really nothing to do with the crash, but this is the actual screenshot I chose. I didn't sit there and try to get it exactly at this time, but then I'm like, oh, well, I can decode this, and look at what I got. 172920. It would be chlorine, copper, and calcium. You add those elements up, you get 137.862. Folks, 137 is the 33rd prime number. How am I getting these syncs like this? Yes, I'm asking for it. I'm looking for it. I'm knocking on that door, but I'm in tune. I'm in tune with what I'm looking for, and that's why these are getting so detailed. This is a rendition of the helicopter. I don't think this is the actual one that crashed. I think this is all like his logos, but it was actually blue and white. But I think this was this was put on there, and then it got taken off. But no, look at his logo. Talk about black and white yin yang right there. That's a total yin yang symbol right there. Of course, there's Saturn's symbol, and then there's the actual name on the chopper. This was the actual brand of the chopper, Sikorsky S-76B. It was like a 15-passenger helicopter. And that equals 39. That's yttrium. And folks, the letter Y is the first letter in the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, Yahweh. It's the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It's what makes time travel possible. This is the shape of the flux capacitor in Back to the Future, which Marty McFly had to get to 88 miles an hour. Do you see all the syncs in this? It's nuts. Yttrium through the English is 126, and that's iodine, folks. 126. Iodine only has one weight, 126,904. That's the I am that I am, folks. Here is iodine broken down. What are we talking about? Well, it's a 23. The word crown equals 23. You know, iodine through alchemy, 174155. Go over to the trusty calculator. It's 4749. And folks, I've shown this before. I am your father, I am your mother. That's 47 and 49. There it is right there. That's your dualistic nature right there. Through the numerology, when we say 47049, it ends up being 107, which is number 47, silver, which is tetragrammaton. So folks, you got to ask yourself, like, who's running Kobe's reality? Was he ever in control of his reality? Sure, he showed up for his games, practiced, won all these state championships, won all these NBA titles, but was he really in control of his life? Here is the Yod. It's the 10th right here. Yod in the Hebrew language signifies iodine. Iodine is also called Yod in Arabic. It's the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. In the English, it's the letter J, which is where Jehovah came from. Yahweh, Jehovah, Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, it's all the same energy, packaged differently. Even Allah, it's the Yod. There's no difference between any religion and the God that they serve. It's all the same thing. It's the I am that I am. Here it is right here, broken down, folks. Tetragrammaton, 4-letter name of the ancient Israelite God. It means 4. As in, like a pyramid has a base of 4 sides, cementing it to the ground. Here's the 14 letters in Tetragrammaton. Through alchemy, using the trusty calculator, we get 99.127. 99127 equals 241, and 241 is the 53rd prime number, folks. Iodine. Here it is right here. It's the 10th letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which is a 9. If you flip this upside down, you're going to get the yin-yang. It's the 9. It's the 10th letter. It became the iota in the Greek, which is the 9th letter. Here's the actual timestamp of when he took off from John and Wayne Airport in Orange County and was crashing in this area here, Lost Hills, Look at the timestamps, folks. 908 is when it took off. 947 is when it crashed. There's the 47 again. You could say this is 9/11, by the way. But when you do the subtraction of those two times, the time in between, 39 minutes. Once again, we get yttrium, which is 88. Remember, Chronos in the Greek equals the number 88. Chronos is Saturn. Saturn is the Yod. At least it's the Yod's throat chakra. This was really interesting. There's a lot of conflict with this. This guy, Noso, whoever it is, some people say he went back and edited his post in Twitter. I'm not sure if you can do that, but it doesn't matter if he went back and did it or not. Here's the actual big standout, folks. This was posted on November 13th, 2012. Here's the date that it was posted. Here's the day of his death. It's 2,631 days. That through alchemy, 2631, go over to the trusty calculator. Look at the number we get, 24, which matches his number on his jersey. I don't care if someone went back and edited this to get themselves some notoriety, get some traction. It doesn't matter. The point is this date with his death date through alchemy ends up becoming the number on his jersey. How is that possible? There's no stretching in this, folks, because I'm showing patterns over and over. How about his last name? I believe the last name, even your last name, you inherited that last name. Your parents didn't give it to you. It's your lineage, which is probably traced back thousands of years. So you can literally decode your last name separate from your first and middle. Sure, you can definitely decode your first, middle, and last name on your birth certificate. But remember, why didn't we take our mother's last name? It's always been the rule or the tradition where we carry the father's last name. But you can even decode your mom's maiden name as well with your last name. It's really interesting. But nonetheless, Bryant is what this guy inherited when he came into this world. It's a number 15, which is the devil card in the tarot. Interestingly enough, here's Saturn's magic square. Each way you go, if you add up 6 plus 7 plus 2, you get 15. 4 plus 9 plus 2, you'll get 15. Any way you go in this square, you'll get the number 15. The mirror of that is the 51. That's the all-seeing eye. That's Baphomet. And 51 plus 15 is 66. Bryant through alchemy, folks. 6-letter word. Master number 6, 6 days of creation. Trusty calculator giving us an outcome of 30.043. 30043. When we say that, look at the outcome we get, folks. 107. Here we go again. 107 is tied to silver, the 47th element, which is the tetragrammaton. So, folks, I believe it's so hard not to believe that predestination is in our reality. Are we really running our own lives? I mean, you say, oh yeah, I'm running my own life, I'm making my own decisions, but are you sure? That little voice in your head that never shuts up, you'll never be able to turn it off. I don't care how much meditation you do. Is it controlling you or are you controlling it? And then when you think you're controlling it, are you really controlling it? That's why predestination is a very good possibility, which would mean that we don't have any control over our free will. It's ridiculous. This guy paid up. It was time to pay up. Served his time. Notice he's wearing the number 8. We're going to get into that. The word Jehovah equals 30. Just so you know. So again, another strong tie-in there. But look at tetragrammaton, 47. That is the total of his last name. And I believe this is why Washington, D.C. has that 47, folks. Just like White House, Georgetown, all those names equal the number 47. Who runs the government? The tetragrammaton. There is no difference between church and state and government, folks. It's all ruled by the same energy, which is right here. Here's an older photograph of Kobe in his younger years, obviously wearing the number 8. The number 8 itself equals the number 18. The word Jesus equals the number 18. Again, folks, there's no separation of anything, man. None. It's all connected. Here's the alchemy of 8. Go over to the trusty calculator. Look at the outcome of 8, folks. 39.054. Again, yttrium. I mean, how many times do I got to keep showing yttrium? The timestamp. You know? The helicopter. You know? How many times do I got to keep showing that to make you a believer? The other element that has the 39 is argon, the 18th element, which matches that of the word 8. It's kind of interesting. Here's a photograph that I got off the internet when I was decoding Kobe, and this is the high school he played for. This blew me away, man. I mean, he wore the number 33, folks. If you know anything about the 33, you know, and then it's not just, you can't just leave it at, well, Freemasonry and Illuminati. No, that's not what it's about. But if you know what this is, you know, it definitely opens up more vantage points to look from. Look at this. Look at the outcomes of the numerology, folks. Lower Marian equals 47 and 147, which it's still expressing the 47. It doesn't matter if the 1's there. It's just has an additional number there. I look at numbers as personalities, like people. They express a certain thing. So when you can reduce down, sure, in numerology, which are that this would become a 12, which would become a 3. But look at the numbers that express right now. There's the 47 right there, and that's Tetragrammaton, folks. Ardmore was the city that that the Lower Marian's in. That's the mirror of the 47, which is 74. I mean, and then you get the element arsenic, which has an atomic weight of 74, which is the 33rd element, which matches that on his jersey. Folks, this is called predestination right here. This guy was born into this matrix reality he's 6'6", by the way, 66. You know, I mean, this guy was born into this matrix to play that game, to give entertainment, and of course, sports is nothing other than a distraction to keep you stuck in the box. And then he's got all this energy on him, and that's time to pay up. It's time for him to pay up. So what did you see during this presentation, folks? Maybe you're seeing some of this stuff for the first time. I know it may be a little bit confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. You know, what did you see during this? But feel free to leave me a comment. If you don't understand this, I'll try to walk you through it as best as I can, but it's pretty simple. It's numerology and alchemy, and then of course, you know, you have other elements as well, getting into magic, and that's all this world is. We're all magicians, slinging our magic. Every time you speak magic spells. So you gotta be careful what you're speaking. But I mean, look at these things, man. These are really important pieces of the pie. I mean, there's the blue and the white right there. These are very important pieces of pie, and this is where it's at, folks. This is what's running the show in our matrix. It's what it is. It's unbelievable, but it is believable. That's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.